Technology is changing science fiction concepts into a reality. What was first thought as imagination is now physical and visible.
Fantastic inventions are in the midst. From robotics to machine learning to artificial intelligence, advancements abound everywhere.
Accelerating technology means you have to keep up. What was a game changer last year is obsolete.
The clock is ticking.
Brace yourselves.
For we have seen
The future.
We have an amazing show lined up for you. We're diving into the future of money, how businesses will handle lending, the role of emerging markets, and so much more.
With the future of money, what's most exciting to me is financial inclusion. Addressing populations which could be unbanked, which could be underbanked, which maybe they have an account for payroll, but they're not using it to actually build a profile, or SMEs. Enable them to have more choice and competition, which means they'll have financial products that suit them.
I think the nature of money is going to become more and more digital. Stable coins, central bank digital currencies. They're in the concept stage right now, but in the next 3 years, you'll see them mainstream in the Philippines also.
We are the first AI-based crypto community. That is, of course, like a Web3 elements as well, where we gamify the whole learning process. And we encourage people to come together and to share the experience, learn about crypto, have fun, and of course, we also offer AI signals as well.
I'm super excited because we have Todd from Broncos. He's going to talk through about the future of open finance and how this is completely changing the game for businesses all around the world.
I can't wait to hear more about it.
We are talking about all things the future of money. Today I have Todd Schweitzer from Broncos. He's the CEO and founder. And Todd, I really want to dive in. If we're going to talk about the future, we need to talk about the past. Can you explain what is open finance and what's been the past of open finance?
So if you think about the evolution of banking, it started with branches and humans, and your experience with financial services is in person, dealing with the branch counter, dealing with cash, right? So we can call that banking 1.0. Banking 2.0 is digital banking. And that's the bank apps and the online banking and checking your accounts, even sending payments using the bank apps. We're now entering an era of open finance where you're separating financial products from how customers choose to access those products. And that allows greater choice for consumers, and it allows greater competition in designing products that fit for those consumers.
I've heard that there's a lot of people around the world that don't have banks. They don't have access to these apps. So do you see open finance and what you're doing as a way for companies around the world to start offering these services to these people that don't have banks or don't currently have access to these financial services?
Yeah, so open finance and financial inclusion are actually one and the same. In Indonesia and the Philippines, for example, less than 50% of the population has regular access to a bank account. And there are many reasons for this. One is these are island nations where logistics is complicated, and setting up a branch to serve a low-income rural population is very expensive, right? Also, for the newly banked or unbanked population, they need different services than the professional class in Jakarta or Manila might need. And so what open finance does is allows for more customizable financial products that serve that population. And it allows for a lower cost of servicing, which is to say, you don't need to set up a new branch and the IT operations and the staffing and the moving the cash out to an island province, because you can enable APIs plugging into a third-party app, and that app can do the onboarding for you. Another piece of open finance, and part of the reason we refer to open finance in emerging markets, not open banking, is because a lot of customers that are unbanked still have a financial relationship. In the Philippines or in Indonesia or Vietnam, that might be remittances, right? So they're receiving regular remittances into the country from a family member that's working abroad on a ship, as a domestic worker, as a hospitality worker in Dubai, for example. They're sending money back to their family every month or every week. That can serve as an alternative credit score for this person back in the homeland to access a loan and not needing to use an informal lender, right, at 20% interest per month.
What are you seeing and what do you think the future is of business lending?
Yeah, Branca sees a lot of opportunity with SME banking in open finance. This is a very new area of open finance, not just in Southeast Asia, but also where Brancas has expanded within the Middle East. I think for SME banking and open finance, this is the cutting edge of open finance today. A lot of banks are still focusing on corporate clients, which is really the bread and butter of the banking business, and they're focusing on high income retail customers. And a lot of these small businesses kind of get lost in the middle, but actually it's a big driver of the economy in a lot of these markets. And so providing ways to access and serve SMEs, providing alternative credit scoring for these SMEs as well, or ways of verifying the health of the underlying business for these SMEs is crucial. And we see a lot of examples of open finance to serve SME banking as well.
So how do you see technology enabling people to expand their business?
Technology and open finance in particular has enabled cross-border financial services much more easily than it used to be. You have ways of checking identity. So for example, in Singapore now, you can use your SingPass login for government services and even to log in and create a new bank account, right? So having portable identity, portable data, and embedded financial services in the apps you use day to day allows for much easier management of your financial services as an individual and also as a business that's expanding into multiple markets.
What do you think is going to be the biggest challenge with open finance or even misconceptions?
I think the biggest misconception for banks is that this is purely a cost and a compliance exercise in markets where there's an open finance mandate or requirement. But actually, there is a competitive advantage for the banks that embrace open finance and treat this as a business driver moving forward. With the future of money, what's most exciting to me is financial inclusion. Addressing populations which could be unbanked, which could be underbanked, which maybe they have an account for payroll, but they're not using it to actually build a profile, or SMEs, as we talked about earlier. Enable them to have more choice and competition, which means they'll have financial products that suit them, right? For small businesses in Southeast Asia, it means they can plug into exporter and importer networks more easily and lower their cost of doing business and reach new markets. So that's what's exciting to me. It's open finance as a driver for competition that allows consumers and businesses to find the financial products that work for them.
Something that really fascinated me about Brancas was what he talked about financial inclusion. Being able to allow people from all around the world to get business lending, to get bank accounts, to really do more than just a bank account, make money, other things that a lot of times they can't do right now because they don't have access to those apps.
Well, absolutely. I mean, here in the Philippines, they really had to fix the problem of requiring so many paperwork. Me as an entrepreneur, just looking at the requirements, I was like, forget about it. This is gonna take so much time. So someone has to solve the problem. So I love the concept and mission of financial inclusion, knowing that in the Philippines, we have 79% of people don't have banks yet. Can you believe that?
That's incredible. I think what's very fascinating about this, because I think we can all agree that through the years, we have been noticing that the learning curve has been getting less and less. And you're seeing companies like Branca's coming to the picture, and it's almost getting to the point where it's user-friendly. And from our understanding, at least the viewers know this, as well as we do, of course, mobile usage of phones with banks, it's really the norm these days. So I think this is a really great opportunity for Branca's to really show what they can do out here in the Philippines.
Stick around, we've got a lot to unpack, but we will be right back after this commercial break.
I think the nature of money is going to become more and more digital. Stable coins, central bank digital currencies, They're in the concept stage right now, but in the next 3 years, you'll see them mainstream in the Philippines also.
What makes sense for you when it comes to the future of money? We talk about the future of money. I do love the convenience of just one QR code, pay someone else. Who carries money at this point? Do you carry money, Jared?
No, I mean, let's just be real here. Like, no one really cares about the tech. No one cares about what's really behind the curtains. Just like you were saying, Kate. If we have a QR code, let's scan it, done deal. Let's go on with my life, right?
Yeah, I never carry cash. The fact when I have to go somewhere and I want to spend money and I have to look for cash, it's always problematic for me. I'm also seeing a big change when it comes to physical bank locations. People are on the go, they're busy, they're more busy now than they've ever been, and they don't want to have to go inside of a bank. They want to be able to do everything on the phone. They want to be able to access what they need from the phone, from different applications. It's really great that we had Union Digital and we had Henry Aguda, and he was really talking about the advancement around digitizing so many options so we don't have to necessarily do them inside of a bank.
Today we have Henry Aguda from Union Digital. Henry, welcome. So nice having you here. Now, let's talk about what is the future of money?
I think the nature of money is going to become more and more digital. Stable coins, central bank digital currencies. They're in the concept stage right now, but in the next 3 years, you'll see them mainstream in the Philippines also.
I love the convenience of just playing just one click, one QR code. Let's talk about lending for entrepreneurs. What does that look like? I mean, Henry, I'm an entrepreneur and I've asked several banks, and there's a lot of requirements. Hopefully, blockchain can solve that ASAP. But can you tell us how easy it is to get funding?
Okay, from Union Digital, we're just about to launch our MSME and SMME lending towards the latter part of this year. And why is that? We started with individual loans. So we tested our underwriting software so that we can make it less document intensive. And I think we have the formula. Now, it's a different thing for businesses. We need to figure out who can we lend to. And that requires very good underwriting, meaning we need to know your credit history. But you know how it is in the Philippines. 90% of the small and medium businesses don't have credit history. If they do, they may be in pen and paper. And collecting information that are paper-based jacks up the price for processing loans. So we're going to do a full digital underwriting. How does that happen? You should be able to go to a website or our app where you could just take scans of your documents. So we need to have alternative sources of scoring. We're looking at social media. We're looking at your phone use. We're looking at maybe bank accounts. All of this with your permission to share. And as soon as you're able to share it with us, the fulfillment of the loan or the loan originating has to be fully digital, meaning you don't have to go online.
What advice would you give for entrepreneurs? So, if you can give them 3 advice how to get funding. I mean, you mentioned social media and really making sure you have your ducks in a row, those paper trail, right? Because we all like to do it manually, but what advice would you give for entrepreneurs wanting to get funding?
Well, first, if you're an entrepreneur, you have to really have an intimate and clear understanding of your business model. By doing that, you will understand how much money you need. Because, like most businesses, you cannot undercapitalize it and you cannot borrow too much. That's a lot of waste. Second, there are a lot of online sites out there and blog sites that lead you to lending and funding options. So you could either borrow from a bank or get it from a potential equity partner. Assuming you determine that you want to borrow from a bank, make sure that the amount that you pay for processing is the lowest possible. And you can only do that if you borrow from a digital lender. And maybe the third and most important, you have to pay your loans. So that gives you the credit history that will propel you forward in the future for bigger loans. But if you default, that's going to be a problem that you will carry for the rest of your business.
Wow, that's an eye-opening. So one default, you're going to be blacklisted. We call it like, we get ding a lot in the US. Like if you're late, it's there for 7 years. Oh, that's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing. What an amazing input. And Henry, thank you for...
My pleasure.
Thank you.
That's a lot to think about, isn't it? Well, we'll be right back after this commercial break.
We are the first AI-based crypto community. That is, of course, like a Web3 elements as well, where we gamify the whole learning process. And we encourage people to come together and to share the experience, learn about crypto, have fun, and of course, we also offer AI signals as well.
And we're back. Before we go, though, I have something super important. I have my app pick of the week. And so some that we have is really special because this is an app I've been using for the last few months, and I really wanted to talk about it. It is called Rolla AI. It's a social community. And Kate, you've said this before. Community is the future of what?
Future of brand. You can't launch any product or services in the future without community. I mean, it is where you acquire customer. Look, we are ADD with a lot of stimulation. Where can we get information? Through our WhatsApp community, right? So community is the future of brand. It's really for everyone to pay attention to.
Exactly, and Rolla is really focused on building community. That is their number one thing. Jared was able to interview the CPO, Rosalind Lee of Rolla AI.
Now we're here today with a special guest. We're with CPO Rosalind Lee from Rolla. How are you doing?
I'm good. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, it's good to have you here. Now, for our viewers, can you explain what Rolla is so that maybe a 10-year-old can understand, like the casual audience viewer?
Basically, we are the first AI-based crypto community. That is, of course, like a Web3 elements as well, where we gamify the whole learning process. And we encourage people to come together and to share the experience, learn about crypto, have fun, and of course, we also offer AI signals as well.
So what makes social and community vital for the cryptocurrency space? And how does that play a role in affect people here in the Philippines?
If you look at crypto at itself, so there are several components that is unique in crypto. The first one is the volatility itself. The second one is the hurdles and difficulties. The third one is the sentiment. So we actually run some natural language processing and machine learning algorithms, not to feed you with fake news, but we just try to understand what are the concerns, what are the questions, which part of the crypto market they don't understand. And we found out, interestingly, in our 200,000 users, actually they care a lot about experience and what do you think. So actually they would like to learn from each other's experience. And especially they like asking, what is your worst rug pull? I mean, how did you get through a rug pull? How did you get through like all those losses? And yeah, I mean, and then you see people like really sharing the worst or the best experience and trying to support each other. And in such a volatile market, you just need it. I mean, yes. I mean, sometimes you need some comforts or you just need some honest advice. So I think in such a volatile market, you just need to have such a support from the community. And especially it is really depending on sentiments a lot. Like you don't know who will post online about like a dark coin again. And then it costs like such the volatility. You just need the support. And in the Philippines, it is quite fascinating to see the community here because people in the Philippines are very passionate. They love to share their experience, they're very expressive, and they're very warm and they care each other. So we see a lot of warm comments and warm support, and they really try to help each other out, and we love the vibe here in Philippines.
Yeah, you couldn't have said it best. Filipinos with our hospitality type of a vibe. And indeed, when you say we're in a unique position here in the Philippines. I'm sure you guys have done your research and understood that the Philippines might or has to be in the top 5 in terms of mobile phone usage and crypto usage at a really high rate. Now, many people see cryptocurrency as a way to democratize finance. How can Rolla and other crypto companies empower individuals, particularly in the Philippines? Now, that really means greater inclusion and so that social media component and bringing it all together. How does that go?
Yep, so we see the main difficulties that the Filipinos, or like some people around the world, is facing is, of course, the underbanking issues. So we have a lot of experience seeing people, they don't have a bank account, or even with a bank account, they face difficulties with remittance, which actually cause a lot of problems and a lot of inconvenience. So for other crypto companies who work on cross-border payment, they can empower these people to have seamless transactions and to ensure that there's no hurdles or no hassles relating to any banking transactions, because crypto, they get settled instantly. And for us, we are a social media platform, and we help people to learn about crypto, and they can earn crypto on our platform. It helps them to ease the transition as well, because so you have some companies providing crypto services, helping people to make settlements instantly, but people have to understand how to use it. I mean, there are a lot of setups, a lot of operations, like choosing the right network, choosing the right chain, importing the right thing, and doing everything correctly. It takes a lot of effort and a steep learning curve for a lot of people. So for us, our main mission is to make sure people understand the process and to learn the whole process, in a fun way or accessible way. And then they equip with the necessary skills to actually operate those cryptos and any other services other providers are providing. So we're empowering them to understand and to enjoy every other things that other projects have to offer.
Thanks, Jared. I guess the future of brand really is community, and glad to see that they are building the community here in the Philippines and beyond.
I hate to say it, but in our society, we're all about social media these days, especially here in the Philippines. So to see a company like Rolla introducing social media component into the crypto industry, it makes sense. Obviously, what Kate was saying, everything's about community. The crypto industry, it's about community. So just tying the social media component into that, I think that's going to brighten it up like a star, and it's going to make it a lot easier for people to onboard into the crypto industry, if you will, aside from click this wallet, click this exchange, click. It's going to be a little bit better, I think, going about this route.
To solve the seamless, the, how do you call it, makes it more seamless. Interoperability. What an amazing episode. Thank you for joining us.
Absolutely. Stay tuned for more intriguing discussions on the future of technology.
We'll see you next time on
The Future. Bye, guys.